Hello, Master Manifester. Today we're talking about radical acceptance and what acceptance is in manifestation. Your brain signals how content, how peaceful you are based on the gap between expectation and reality. So we talk about that a lot, right? We talk about how if you expect something and you imagine that you have something and you realize that you don't have it, that your brain drops your dopamine levels. Well, gratitude is where you feel like you got more than what you expected, right? So your dopamine levels actually go up. So the expectation was a peanut and you got a jar of peanuts. So your brain's like, yay, super success, right? And the fixation that you get with like resistance and attachment is a prediction error that lowers dopamine and that reduces your motivation to even have that thing. It's like, why even bother feeling like I can be someone who has this. And that's where your drop in the dopamine is coming in. And when you recognize that, you can kind of step into this pause space of observing and accepting, well, this is just here for now. This is the program updating itself. This is how the program used to be, and this is just a reflection of what the previous unconscious programming was, right? Because your thoughts are just story options. They're story options for your mental story that keeps this existence, this reality coherent, makes sense to us. Because we need to think in linear time, we need to think in linear space in this, dense physical energy. So when you're reflecting on your present story and your feelings about it, try not to assume that they're good or bad. If you can, assume that they're good and that they're serving your manifestation because they are. Because as soon as you've selected the story, the experience that you want to have, your story is unfolding, and you just need to stay focused on that new story. So when you see the old story kind of running itself out, and a lot of the time this will happen in a sort of extinction burst. So you can look that up in psychology. Extinction bursts are where the system like overruns an old program because it's desperate to keep it running. It's a survival mechanism. And it's important to remember these things aren't testing you in a sense of, they're trying to see if you're tough enough. No, it is not a willpower test. It is a stress test to see if it is safe to run the new program. Right. So when you get these ruminations of these old programmings and these old thoughts of, oh, I'm not good enough, I'm not trying hard enough, I need to do more and I need to be more. No, no, you're already there. You already have it. It's just unfolding now that you've selected it. You just need to give time for your system to fully update because you've been running an old process for so long in that area. So when you see those icky feelings of resistance and attachment and fixation, it's really your system trying to keep you safe by keeping you stable in whatever story you identified with. Notice I said identified because it's always past tense. You're always moving forward. It is always identified previous tense. And you're continuously choosing, am I still identifying with this? Am I still? And then your reticular activating system in your brain and nervous system selects and filters your reality and makes you notice more of what you agree with, basically, what you receive in access, what you uh, continue to repeat mostly. Mostly it is what you repeat all the time. If you keep allowing those stories to run without pauses, without noticing, and constantly falling into the spiraling emotions of thoughts, infecting emotions, infecting thoughts. I don't want to say infect. They feed off of one another. It's not really like an infection. They're sending messages back and forth. Hey, I feel this. Brain's like, okay, it means this, and emotions are like, oh no, I feel this now. Yeah, and then it's just basically they're going back and forth like, some middle school kids talking about the latest horror story or something. This happened, and then this happened, and it's happening right now, and we gotta run. And then their imaginations, get carried away and they get freaked out. It's kind of like that. So, yeah, the more that you pay attention and let those dreams run and get into that state of physical fight or flight and intensity, the more it will be reinforced in your reality. You will see more bad news, more reasons to be upset, more reasons to freak out, right? And, in your reality, it's choose your own adventure. It's almost like the story points are kind of fixed, or all decisions lead to certain phases or points, but you can choose how to perceive those and move into a different version of yourself within that story point. So when you see things that haven't come to pass yet, always remember that you already have the state, the experience, the feeling, the program itself, the processes available in other ways right now. And always be looking for, confirmation of that in everything that you see. And that will reinforce in your unconscious, pay attention to this. This is my new story. And eventually those old parts die off. But you do have to witness and accept them because, it's the seeing and the pause and the observing of it that cleans out the old program and allows the new program to take hold and gets you out of that uncomfortable zero space, or sometimes the uncomfortable, 555 space of you know, just intense physical transition where your nervous system and your body and your mind are trying to catch up to everything that's happening, both externally and in your conscious mind. So I hope this has given you some inspiration on, how to perceive acceptance, how to be more accepting and releasing resistance and manifestation, and how to filter your reality and choose your story. Select your presets for your programs and your automations so that you can have a good time here. Because it really is fun here. That there's you're the yin and the yang of your reality. There's the good and there's the bad and there's the sweet and the sour, but you need to appreciate how both work together to give you a fuller, more colorful, more interesting experience. Thank you for listening. Please like, subscribe, and sign up for the Method Muse newsletter in the description below.